Hello, and thank you so much for agreeing to speak at one of i2i's CWIEME shows. The team are really grateful to you for taking the time to prepare and deliver your presentation or panel discussion contribution, and we look forward to welcoming you on site. Whether you are speaking at CWIEME Chicago, Berlin, Istanbul or Shanghai, we hope you enjoy the experience. In this short video, I'm going to share some ideas and tips we've put together to help you do justice to the insight and expertise you have to offer while you're up on stage. It's a bit of work, but as I'm sure you'll agree, it's worth spending time on, especially when you think of all the potential new business partners, clients, or useful contacts you could make as a result of a dynamic and well-delivered presentation. Great presentations also go up on our website and YouTube channel, and these will get people talking about your work and the organisation you represent long after the event itself is over. The content team here at i2i have put their heads together to share the components of what contributes to making a presentation memorable and that much better than the rest. From a practical point of view, presentation skills are always worth practicing. Even if you're an experienced presenter, there is always room to improve, and the next event you sign up to gives you just that chance to practice your skills once more. Good presentation skills help create increased interest in what you have to say, your expertise, and the work of the organisation you may represent. So let's start with the preparation. Start with the end in mind. What point or points do you want to make? Make sure your slides consistently progress towards the main theme and are aware of the core themes and audience for that session. Sketch your ideas out on a piece of paper before committing them to a PowerPoint, and decide what you'd really like the audience to come away having remembered. This simple but incredibly useful video makes some helpful points and reminders on how this can be done. If you're not sure on who you're talking to or what the brief is, or you want to expand or modify the brief of the session, please give us a call within reasonable time of the event so that we can clarify together. Next, think about how to use the slides to share ideas with the audience, not just to remind you of what to say. You can use presenter mode or some simple note cards which keep your prompts separate from what goes up on screen. Use as many slides as you need and can cope with in the time allocated if it helps you get the narrative of your story and key points over to the audience. But please remember, putting loads of data or ideas on one single slide can be overload for the audience. Even for the most technical of presentations, too much detail will make it difficult for the audience to absorb the information, and this can be off-putting for visitors, especially if they are seated further back from the screen. Think about how you can use more visuals in your slides to get your points across. The seminar theatres can sometimes be surrounded by a noisy and dynamic environment, so it's best to go into detail verbally, using slides just to illustrate the key points. Wherever possible, do try to avoid reading from a script or your speech word for word. Unfortunately, this is the fastest way to lose an audience. Rather than reading from a script, why not use prompt cards to remind you what part of your story you'll be sharing next? As many of you are already senior experts and presenters on the topics you are discussing, this is most likely something that won't affect you, but it's always worth making sure you are happy with the topic and title you are presenting, and that the details you discuss are on something you can speak on largely from experience and memory. Whenever you get the chance, practice before out loud. Many speakers often say that really mastering your points and feeling familiar with the order of your presentation is the key to enjoying the experience of presenting. And it means you'll have the confidence to ad-lib, which really makes a good session a great session. Again, as an experienced public speaker, this may be something you already do in the run-up to every presentation. But remember, even with material you know inside out off the stage, sometimes to feel confident in your presentation and its flow on stage, it really helps to practice out loud before the show. This could be practicing in front of a colleague, a friend, or even in front of the mirror alone. Whatever suits you. Either way, you'll be more relaxed and enthusiastic on the day for having got it out there already. Don't forget to send us your presentation. We suggest you always email a copy of your presentation to your CWIEME content producer at least 1 week before the show. That way you can be confident it will be there waiting for you when you get on stage. As always, successful event planning is always about second-guessing what might just happen next. So don't forget to bring your presentation on a memory stick too, as a backup on the day. A backup version means you and the CWIEME team are completely prepared. Remember, it's your responsibility to ensure this happens, so make sure you have a USB stick to hand before you leave the house, office, or pack it in any checked-in luggage that might get lost in transit. Finally, in the last few weeks running up to the show, either the content manager, producer, or speaker logistics manager will be in touch by email with a full set of final instructions on where to go and what to do on the day, how to find the theatre, and a design of the theatre itself so you can visualise the theatre you'll be speaking in. So now the preparation bit is done, but what should you expect on the day? One of the most important things to do is ensure you arrive at your theatre or stage area in plenty of time. Sometimes you'll be asked to check in at a CWIEME speaker lounge, although not all shows have these. But if we do, we will let you know about both the lounge or the theatre location in our final speaker communications, emailed to you before the show. Please remember that some of our events are very large and can take up to 10 to 15 minutes or more to walk from the venue reception to the speaker lounge and then to the stage. Arriving with time to spare means we can upload and check your slides, have your microphone fitted, and chat through any final questions you may have with the AV technician. Please do allow lots of time to avoid stress and arrive relaxed and ready to go for your session. Either myself or one of my colleagues will be there to meet you on site, either at the speaker lounge or at the theatre directly, depending on the show. We'll be on hand, so feel free to ask any questions that you have. So, you may be thinking, what type of environment will I be speaking in at CWIEME? Most CWIEME seminar theatres seat between 75 to 150 guests, depending on the show. A stage area, central or dual plasma presentation screens, a lectern, and all AV and microphones will be provided, including a clicker. Lounge seats and a small water table will be on stage if a panel discussion is part of the session. We will also have water for you, and there will be a lectern where you can put your notes. As content plays an integral role to all our shows, all our theatres are on the show floor, so unless otherwise advised, please expect some varying levels of background noise. Do remember, if you have special AV requirements for your presentation, it's important to contact us well in advance of the show to see if we are able to assist. It's also worth noting that the majority of our theatres do not have live internet access at present. If you are in a venue with Wi-Fi, it may be slow at times due to so many individual users, so any videos you want to show should ideally be offline unless otherwise notified beforehand. Again, it's best to check with me or your content producer or speaker logistics manager before the show so you know what to expect, as this can vary from venue to venue and stage to stage. We will, of course, try to help in any way we can. This takes us to the all-important microphone setup. At CWIEME events, there is almost always the opportunity to use a wireless headset or radio microphone rather than a static one. This means, should you wish to do so, you can walk around the stage, move naturally, and concentrate on the points you want to make. A roving mic will also be available for questions from the audience at the end of your talk, and a member of I2I or theatre staff will be on hand to assist with this. Finally, please do speak loudly. If it's too loud, the technician will turn your mic down, but if you're too quiet, it's difficult for them to help. Sessions are walk-in, and unless you're already notified, not pre-registered. Unlike at a traditional conference, occasionally the audience can sometimes peruse the exhibition stands near the theatre and wait for a speaker to start before they take their seats. If this occurs, it can be slightly disconcerting for the speaker, as your eye-to-eye staff manager may announce you to a slightly smaller audience than you expect. However, by confidently taking the stage and starting your presentation as normal, please be assured the audience will quickly accumulate. So, the time has come, the most important part, and it's all about getting started and starting strong. We aim to start sessions as promptly as possible, and to get things going, a member of Eye-to-Eye content staff will be on hand to let you know when to take the stage and start your presentation. Don't forget to introduce yourself. Remember, a quick intro to who you are, the organisation you represent, and the subject you'll be talking about as soon as you take the mic always starts the session well. Both the CWIEME team and the audience understand that the people delivering presentations and appearing at the events are generously giving up their time to share their knowledge. They're excited to learn from you and be inspired by what you're doing. Be enthusiastic and you're already halfway there. Once you've got started, you'll get into your stride, but those opening comments can set you up really well if you feel really confident in them. So, what to avoid? Most importantly, don't start on a downbeat and avoid negative comments about the weather, remarks about awful transport, awful traffic, the queue for coffee or the poor number of attendees, or in fact your own presentation. This won't win over visitors, so always try to start on a positive note when taking the stage. So, the presentation is coming to the end and you'll need time for some Q&A. It's really important to allow at least a short amount of time for Q&A. Usually, you will have 40 minutes in a session if it's a straight presentation slot, which means ideally 25 to 30 minutes of speaking with 10 minutes to accommodate audience questions. As soon as the presentation is over, it is also worth remembering, particularly for CWIEME events, to leave around 25 to 30 minutes if you can to chat to visitors, who you will find often forming an eager queue to talk with you. So that's it for your top tips for speaking at Eye-to-Eye CWIEME events. But don't forget, if you need more ideas, information or speaker tips, you can find lots of inspiration on YouTube with a selection coming up next. These videos cover a wide variety of presenting skills, from curing nerves to making a fantastic slideshow. And of course, you can come to me or the CWIEME team for more information, or ideas or suggestions on how to make a CWIEME seminar really work for you. Thanks for joining me, and see you at a CWIEME event soon.